Good evening, parents. Welcome to the second grade back to school night presentation. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Janice Freeman, and I would love for you to call me Janice. I love serving the Lord at HCS. I love teaching kids, and it's really fun to watch them learn. I also love to hear from you. So you can email me anytime. My address is at the bottom of this slide. And I'll do my best to answer questions at the end of each day, hopefully sooner. Our daily routine in second grade, arrival time is 8:10 to 8:25. It's important not to be any earlier because I probably won't be in the classroom. We're seated by 8:30 and start our pledges then. Lunch starts at 11 o'clock, and that's pretty early, so we won't need a snack this year. Recess starts at 11:35, and all the kids love to go outside and get some calories burned. We have Monday music class. Tuesday is gym, so you'll want to send sneakers on that day for them to change. And we have Wednesday library day, so it's important to return their books each Wednesday so that they can check out a new book. Okay, now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about homework, and we have some changes this year, so it might be a little lengthy, but it's important to remember, if you look at the bottom of this slide, that homework should be completed in 30 minutes or less. So if your child is taking a lot longer than the 30 minutes, just talk to me and I'll be glad to see what we can work out. But I have our second grade homework very much the same every single week so that your child gets used to the routine and just knows what to do. So every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights, students will have a Bible verse to study, a short spelling assignment, the back of a math practice page, and 2 to 4 reading pages in their reading book. And this is going to be silent reading. And then Wednesday night is church night for many kids, so I like to have even shorter homework on Wednesdays. They study their Bible verse and just do that short spelling assignment. We also have a super speller program in second grade. If your child is a super speller one week, and I'll tell you how to get to be a super speller in a minute, if your child is a super speller, they don't have to copy their words on Wednesday night at all. Instead, they'll just get a spelling page ready and write a big giant SS on it. And we are not going to start that super speller program until the week of September the 23rd because I know your child isn't ready to have their handwriting evaluated just yet. We will, on occasion, have a science test or a history test coming up. We have history in the spring and science in the fall. And when we do have one of the content area tests like that, we won't have a reading assignment. Okay, now you can see what those homework pages and tests look like. The page on the left is a spelling test that this child made a super speller page. Notice he got a 100 A+ on the words on his spelling test, and the smile up on the top left means that he got an outstanding for handwriting. And I will actually write a big giant SS on the test if your child is a super speller. And that means on the following Wednesday night, your child will make a page like the one on the right. All they have to do is write SS on their page instead of writing their words. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about homework. I'm going to try this year to see if we can get our homework submitted through Google Classroom. I think that's a really great idea since you never know when we might be closed for a little bit and we'll have to submit all our work to Google Classroom, so it'd be great to keep in practice, and it'll also help so we won't have so many papers flowing in and out of the classroom. We're going to have a homework sheet emailed to you every week, so I'll have all the review sheets that you need And I'll also have all of your child's assignments, and I'll try this year to send you a copy of the spelling list. And that way, the spelling book won't even have to come home every night. So it'll make homework a little bit easier. You can also find a copy of your child's spelling list on spellingcity.com. I've included the web link for you. And just search for my name, and there are also some great review games that your child can practice too, which will be fun for them. I also post homework assignments on our facts page, so you can look there if you can't figure out what your child has to do for homework that night. Okay, Google Classroom, I know some of you might not have experience with it, so I've given you a little video. Mrs. Carper was kind enough to share this YouTube video with us to show you how to easily log into Google Classroom and to find your child's homework assignment and submit it. To submit the homework page, you're going to need to make that page into a PDF, and the easiest way to do that is just to simply snap a picture of it using Adobe Scan, and that'll quickly turn your page into a PDF that you can submit right to Google Classroom. You can use a tablet like an iPad or your phone. If you have a printer that scans, usually that will also just turn any page into a PDF as well. And I've given you the link that you can download Adobe Scan if you don't have that already. Okay, and the following is a page that I copied that they published from the school, and this also gives you written directions in case you're still having a little trouble figuring out how to log into Google Classroom. It gives you the information on how to find your child's email address and what codes to plug in. And if you need help, I will be glad to help you. I've already published the homework into Google Classroom for next week, but next week you can also go ahead and send paper copies of the homework if you still need a little bit more time to practice. And we'll just use next week as a trial run to see how this Google Classroom homework project goes. And I'll touch bases with you and see how everybody's doing. Okay, let me talk to you about your child's work and how you can see how your child's doing every week. It used to be every single week I would send all the papers home for the whole week in a big plastic envelope. But this year, because I'd like to not have to pass those papers out all around the classroom and have children handle each other's papers, I'm going to try this year to send papers back every single day, and that way they can just come pick them up off of the table and put them in their own homework notebook. And so you will find those papers in the back pocket of your child's homework notebook and just take those papers out and review them with your child if they need it. And always keep those papers at home. The only papers you'll need to return to school are ones that need corrections, and that's only if they made a D or an F on the page. And they can use a pen or a marker to just write the right answers right on top of that. If they made an A or a B or a C, they can just look the page over. They don't need to correct it or return it back to school. I'm going to have grades posted in Facts regularly, so you can check your child's progress once a week to see how they're doing. We love to have treats and parties all the time in second grade, but I'm not really sure this year how we're going to handle actually serving food in the classroom with the COVID restrictions, so we'll have to play that by ear. And I will get back with you and let you know as soon as that's decided. I do know that we do have some peanut allergies in our classroom this year, so when we are allowed to bring treats in, we're going to really need to be careful to make sure no nuts are included. We have already started our reward program for keeping the class rules. We only have 4 short class rules, and they're posted right on our classroom wall. Children need to stay in their seat, raise their hand to talk, and follow directions first time given. And at the end of every day, you've probably already seen they have a little color-coded slip that they get that shows you that they had a perfect day with no behavior marks at all. And then we're going to take those 10 slips and they get to take them to the lunchroom in their little cardboard folder that I've been sending home. And Mrs. Coombs will give them a prize. We already have a few prizes, but if you'd like to contribute more, please send them in, because with a big class, you can imagine they're going to go through prizes really, really quickly. Okay, curriculum highlights. We're going to be learning cursive writing this fall. It's going to come sooner than you think, and the kids have had their really first in-depth handwriting lesson today, and I was impressed by how well they did. So they love the idea of learning cursive handwriting, and you can really encourage them to do well there. Later this fall, we're going to be choosing a favorite wild animal and get books from the library and actually learn how to write a little report. This is going to be rather simplistic from our point of view, but it's a big deal for second graders. And then in the spring, we're going to be doing a science project. The Spring Excellence Fair is when you're actually going to see the science project come back to school to be displayed. But we'll be doing it right at the end of our science unit, which will be right before Christmas time. So I will be sending home lots and lots of information about that very soon so that you can get that started even a couple of months ahead of time if you'd like to. I've enclosed on the very last page one of the science projects that one of my students did. This has been at least 5 years ago. But I picked this one because it reminds me that this year, even though we've got some challenges and we're all trying hard to work to keep healthy, we know that God is always faithful and He keeps His promises. God promised that He would never destroy the earth with rain again, and He put the rainbow up in the clouds to show that He will keep His promise, and we can trust Him to keep His promises. And I hope you're looking forward to a wonderful second grade year. I've already enjoyed getting to know your children. And next week, if you would like to, if you have any questions about any of the information in this presentation or in the pictures of the slides that I'll be emailing to you, I will be glad to have a Google Classroom with you or a Zoom classroom, and we can get together and talk about some of the questions you have. I'm really enjoying looking forward to working with you this year. Thanks for listening.